low. That malediction was very early, and he should pop from this Matomaman, just ensuring it by actually doppelgangering himself forward to get that last hit into the Doombringer. Going to find a way back into it. It might be his comfort hero. I know PPD spoke a lot about that, bit in previous blog tube when he was over on the panel at ESL1, basically saying we pick up heroes, Admiral Bulldog. I think he did again, and I think he knows it too. He's just committing to try and kill off Jirax, but that's not going to work. Even RK is going to drop fairly low, and they actually use the Mango to try and punish him. But Admiral Bulldog, man, he's still... So you devour up inside the lane, but he still doesn't have an aura creep to work with.
Oh, this mid lane.
Yeah, there goes Magnus as well. Liquid, this is just such a... This is the greatest. He gets his bottle and can just fight again. That's after Admiral Bulldog as well as RK did everything they possibly could. And Jirax comes back in again, paralyzing cast. They're close enough that he can just throw this one, and then they split nicely. So Alliance not getting caught out by this. The Lich will end up surviving. The Malediction pop won't be enough to kill him. Only drops out to 80. But it's Jirax on the tree line that's having real issues. That Restoration level 1 kind of almost just flags how little damage that Alliance have. But they do still find themselves their first kill on the board.
Yeah, and even with what Lich does to a lane, the Phantom Lancer, yeah, they were able to get the kill early, but when it comes to actual CS, they haven't had the best time.
Is there Phantom Rush? Yeah, there is. PL, he didn't even really have to attack into the Lich, he just shoulder charged him then.
Yeah, it's more than the Phantom Lancer does, and I kind of like the idea behind this lane is you offensively eat one creep, defensively eat another. It makes it really difficult for the PL to fight.
My nuts. Well, this is another way to fight. They just come down to contest for that 6-minute rune.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that you can do there. I think it's just, you know, can't really lane anymore.
Bulldog's dead again.
Oh, this is getting rough.
This time it's a Malediction pop, or it could just be a ball slap. So Doombringer will go down, and then RK, at least he knows, like the Lich off lane's unknown thing, and maybe that's what we have to start looking at now, where Doom just takes what he's got and goes into the jungle, leaves the Lich just to hold that lane back down again. Top lane, Snowball's going to be able to dodge all of the call down. And then Mind Control was trying to fight, gets the charge off, and Loader, the Paralyzing Cast will arrive. They don't have the mana for Malediction. There are 3 1 charges, and actually Jirax has to use it because Mindnuts turns around and tries to fight him. The Plasma Field chips into Loader, but not enough damage, down to 38, but that's not enough to die.
And what isn't going to be something that really changes because he can just go back to the mid lane, harass
Check out the bottom room. Matomaman, they're going to silence him up. Jirax going to start with the Paralyzing Cask again, and RK is very low. They go for the Malediction now. All they really want to do is secure that bounding room for bottle charges, but what they get is more. Fada dropping down low, but he's 1 charges, and he's trying to steal enough damage. Kura couldn't keep that tether on.
Oh, he gets
so
the
no
Doom off too.
restoration, and Matomaman having a bit of an unlucky doppelganger. He's locked on the hillside, and if I actually realized this, Roshan actually ended up denying a Witch Doctor, so Alliance can't really catch a break. They do still have Matomaman sitting on the hill, but Mindnuts is isolated from the rest of his team. It's Kuro as well as Mind Control together, and somehow Matomaman just sitting on the hillside, throws out the lance, gets the kill on S4, and they lost the Night Stalker inside the Radiant jungle.
Lions just can't catch a break right now. That Roshan comes out a little bit too late. At the same time, Liquid can't afford to get over-aggressive against a lineup like this, but
they're relocating up. It's up to top lane. They've already got the snowball going to work, and it's just Mindnuts who's up here. So that's quite a heavy commitment of a relocate, and they're already TPing players back down again. Because the relocate's over on the dire side of the river, and that's why S4, while it's a simple tether away, Lotus can let the cooldown go, but Kuro into the trees, and he'll dodge the second rocket, while the rest of Alliance now being initiated on. Fada moving to the front line, Mind Control, too much damage. He tries to go for the punch, but can't get there in time, and now with the lockdown, both Doom and RP being used, but it's Matomaman diving him back behind the tower. It's still a 3-for-2 trade-off, Alliance were behind. They're looking for more, and they are going to find that 3-for-3. Fada dying behind the tower, giving Admiral Bulldog a double kill. Jirax and Matomaman trying to get a little bit better of a result out of this one, but they're not going to find it unless Mindnuts overcommits, and Mindnuts will be backing up right now. 3-for-3 trade-off, good for Alliance.
The damage and the regen from... he's got 1 point in the Voodoo Restoration, and you've got the Wisp, but as we saw, when both the supports go down and the Doom's running out, you want a way to reset the fight.
A good jump away by Matomaman. The RP though, that's the blink from S4 going to go to work, but Matomaman's still very, very strong. In comes the snowball, actually dodging the Lijoli for a little bit of bounce back up again, killing up Matomaman, but the paralyzing cast with the malediction. The cooldown might buy a little bit of space with Kuro dropping so low. Loader's able to finish the job. S4 comes back in again for another shockwave. The defense will be there. Jirax's death ward forcing Alliance back to their side of the river, and they're looking for the denial over and Fada the shockwave. Off target, and Fada, I think he just called out saying, "Yo guys, I can live through this." Bottle charges up and 1 charges back in again too.
Oh, S4's got to be careful.
Yep.
He might actually know about this invis room, but he might assume that Fada actually went back.
There's no rolling in. Didn't bring Fada with him, but it doesn't matter. He's still in range for the plasma field.
So
and that's
well
the
set
kill.
up.
And Nice Look actually comes into this fight too.
Just trying to deny that mid tower, I think.
Fada's not wanting to let him have it, but he has no choice.
Look at Fada's HP.
We used to have this like the safe lane Doombringers, and you went for the early Vlads on dire side so you can get Roshan nice and early on. That's what this kind of reminded me of. So you can take this fight and then take the T1 tower and push into Roshan because you've got that lifesteal aura kicking in. Right now it is a double kill coming in the way of Alliance, and Mind Control's really trapped in behind this tower. He wants to snowball and keep this run going, and that's the reason why there's a haste rune up his sleeve. He doesn't drag, actually he does drag up a fair chunk of the creep wave with himself. And this will force Admiral Bulldog to tank out, and it was a trade-off at the same time. And Tupperman,
no, and right now it's yes. It's definitely yes.
They look good, even though their early laning phase was absolutely terrible with the Magnus. Now Admiral Bulldog, he just goes ham, turns on that Scorched Earth, and Jurex can't do anything against this. He's doomed up. He's practically out of this fight. If he takes any more damage, then he'll end up dying. In fact, the Wild Wings, he traps him into the tree lines, and they move down to the bottom lane, and that's where the jump comes. S4 tries to move into position for the double RP, couldn't get it, but he still ensures the kill over on Kuro. With a follow-up cooldown, Fada cannot run away. Both Frost blasted, as well as the big cooldown. There's just no escape from this. But Tupperman will finally arrive, but Mindnuts loves this. They're fighting during nighttime, and especially during darkness, so they're just chasing after Tupperman, keeping these urn charges rolling in. Find the real PL. Won't matter anymore. Mindnuts has actually run out of mana, so they'll back it up.
It's mind control. That's who I saw.
But yeah, no one in Alliance has that. But they're picking out, like everyone's gone missing, so, but some of them were sending over a couple of illusions, they're not close enough to it, and Roshan down to 2.3k, S4 still waiting if they initiate in, the Shans will fly, but it doesn't stop the heroes from attacking from Alliance, and nope, Die will take it, S4 still waiting for it, and now in he comes with a double RP into the three-man corner, Admiral Bulldog is cleaving apart Team Liquid, they're chasing after Matubberman, they know which one's the real one, S4 body blocking him, Kuro will save his core by taking him back to base. But Alliance take out Roshan, they keep the Aegis to the Immortal, and what a huge fight. They'll be able to pick up the Wisp as well, there's nothing for him to tether to. This is a very dead Kuro.
I mean, the damage has just been completely done. Alliance walk away with 4 kills, the Aegis survives on the core.
S4 trying to get cheeky. There was no reason to commit the RP unless they hung around a little bit longer. Looks like top lane though is where Liquid are going to be battling this one up because they've realized now that Magnus is on the bottom lane. They start with the Death Ward, they relocate Fada in, but Loda got a very long way away here and the Glimmer Cape into a cooldown. There goes your Aegis the Immortal. Arcade can't do much more than this though, like, I think he understands that Loda is dead. Movement was coming over from my nuts, but just let Loda die.
He was way too isolated out, like there was nobody near him, engagements and pushes. Because without that tier 2 available, Liquid are just like, okay, we don't even care if we group up at this point. Alliance have already shown themselves on the map. Insignificant thing whatsoever. Obviously, the double doom is the most important, but at top, it looks like Mindnuts wants to immediately kill Kuro, and this is going to be what he goes for. Fada's going to get out, luckily, but...
Kuro's actually can just TP himself out until Arcade does that. There's that mini-stun from the ult. He does not want to see this Wisp disappear.
But at that phase,
you might 3 minutes to the next Aegis.
Exactly, and at that phase too, Matamba just continues to snowball. This is a hero that's getting pretty out of control right now.
Well, this will help. Mind control, mech charge. That Solar Crest is helping him, and he's going to snowball. There's no more support for him. However, he's going to go in deeper. Just waste a little bit of time, but he will end up dying in the bottom lane.
Build up enough of a lead where your Phantom Lancer can pretty much just 1v5.
I love this from Mindnuts. Pushes out, chases after Jirax. Now, Kuro's in the neighborhood, so he can relocate Jirax out if he needs to. And that's in fact what he's going to do, but he gets cancelled. There's no relocate out. Jirax will have his TP cancelled. Kuro will be successful at escaping. But they'll end up losing the Witch Doctor. They could have lost a little bit more than now too, I think. There's fortification, and well, here's the TPs. They're coming in, the full butterfly just got completed by Matubberman, so he wants to try and fight this one. Mind control jumping in, sending S4 up. They push him away. It's a BKB some trigger from Loda as well as S4. But Fada getting some really good steal on the damage. Up to 70, S4 so low. The Razor will end the spree with that Lightning Storm doing its work. Loda wants to come back over, Kuro making sure the Fada is able to survive through this one. Admiral Bulldog, there goes your refresher off. Level death down Jirax, but it's Matubberman who just keeps fighting and taking away all this mana, so they cannot be a second Doom, just because Admiral Bulldog has nothing to give. Loader is so low with that Rocket Barrage, still with the Aegis Immortal up his sleeve. But he's retreating out, there's no cooldown for the moment, but Liquid, they're coming out a very long way here to try and fight. The mini-stuns actually helping, they'll get the kill over on Arcade, and Alliance will disengage, but they took the full top racks.
Yeah, they get the racks, but at the same time...
You thought for a moment top of them would try and go down solo on him, even if he does have the Aegis Immortal. With no TP scroll, he could keep Alliance distracted, while the rest of Liquid push it through top, and that's what they do. Walrus punch into Admiral Bulldog, paralyzing cast, Death Ward follow-up. Admiral Bulldog will get the BKB off, but... he dooms off Fada, and that's going to be a waste of a doom, and it's actually, Matumbaman going after Loader. Fada's rotates himself down, and Loader's going to die so quickly. There goes your Aegis Immortal. The Lich ulti is doing some serious lifting here as Fada. Solo Kuro wants to keep him alive. S4 looking for the perfect RP. He brings down Kuro, but the paralyzing cast. T-Rex has caused such havoc here for Alliance. They have to do a double buyback. They do it on the Doom, and that's exactly where Matumbaman tries to focus now. Where is your control? Admiral Bulldog can't get back in again. The shards are keeping him outside the base. The Glimmer Cape from Arcade will buy him that space required, but there's just so much Matumba running through the mid. They're going to go after Loader as well, and this is a huge disaster for Alliance. They have to buy back in the gyro. He'll end up using it, but he'll practically be the sole survivor. Mindnuts has basically left the base, and they're going for the GG push up the tier 4 towers. And I think Alliance, they're going to have to admit this, they are fighting 5v2 with no real power left in their lineup.
Yeah, and this is just the strength of the Phantom Lancer, because again, Liquid just decided to say, okay, we're never really going to force the fight. We're just going to wait until our Phantom Lancer gets so huge, you get frustrated, you're not taking enough racks, and I think Liquid for a second thought they were going to back, but might have just realized, okay, nobody from Alliance fought back. Yeah, like, they're not just going to give up all of their tier 4s for nothing. If they had buyback, they would have used it by now, and I think they realized that.
Dead. Came in with a call down, so much damage stolen. He'll actually be given the cheese, but that will not be enough to live. They burned through him twice over. Minus trying to run himself away, but there's just no running here. GG is the call. Team Liquid will take game 1 here in the 2-game series against Alliance. And, well, it looked like Alliance were in a really good position in that mid-game, but then it all just fell apart, or I should say it all came together for Team Liquid.
Yeah, Team Liquid eventually realized, yo, we can't